For today's show, I am partnering with Castro, the podcast app that makes it easy to enjoy episodes of your favorite shows with the best playback experience available. Designed to help you expand your listening habits and track a broad range of shows without getting overwhelmed. Castro is the podcast app for podcast lovers. So if you love my show and others like it, give Castro a try. Go to castro.fm to download the Castro podcast app today.
Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing. A soul thing.
Hi, thanks for listening to the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. Today I have two guests I'm really excited to have on. Rob and Gary, they are both partners and founders of a organization called the Journeymen Collective. And we're going to go through and talk about what that is and what that means and talk about their whole business, because that's, from what I have read and seen the website, I'm so interested in their business. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you for having us.
So tell me a little bit about what the Journeyman Collective actually is, or tell my audience what it is, because I know what it is.
So we founded or co-created this company in 2018. And it wasn't like just one day we just decided to start serving people mushrooms, magic mushrooms. We have a depth of understanding of the mind, body, and soul of human beings and human potential. And we went through a tumultuous experience known as death. Gary's mom, who lived with us for 3.5 years, she passed away very suddenly. And I'm giving you the very quick Coles Notes version. And when she passed, we were struck with a newfound aspect of depression, grief. Gary experienced anxiety in a new way. And all the tools, all the mind, body, conscious meditation, breath work, all the things that we had in our back pocket just weren't shifting it. And so this woman, we say this little fairy woman, walked into our lives and she said, you might want to think about going on a journey. And I immediately scoffed at her and said, I've done mushrooms before. What are you talking about? And she said, no. Like, it's really helped me. And it just kept coming up in conversation. And within 6 months of an initial conversation, I found myself in a guided journey. Depression, gone. Grief, gone. Gary saw the shift in me.
And I said, wow, mushrooms can do this?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. So I spoke to the medicine man and I booked in on my birthday. And I always say it's the best birthday gift one could give oneself. I completed that journey and I felt at peace, calm, contentment. The grief and depression had subsided and I found a purpose in my life. And I was happier. And I shared with Rob is like some of the visions that came through said that this is the medicine we're supposed to work with alongside our personal development programs or mind body conscious awareness training. And how does that look?
And were you doing, so it sounds like you tried meditation and breath work, other things that did you learn this from someone or went to classes, or this is just part of what your everyday life was about and just not working?
Yeah. Like Gary's been studying the Alexander technique,
which is mind body conscious awareness training since 1985. So I've been a teacher since 2005, but it started when I was 17 years old, getting connected to self in theater school. And they teach meditation and body movement and body awareness and breath work. So I've been with that style of living for over 40 years. Plus.
So we're just contemplating life, thinking about life on a deeper level, and then using your mind to create that which you want in your reality. And both Gary and I have always been sort of, we always move towards that which we want in life, and we have no regrets whatsoever. And it was shown to us that we were to come together not only as a couple, because we were married in 2017, and then a few months later Gary's mom passes away. This new aspect of life was sort of like opened up, and we walked down the hall in our home every single day, and it was like a really rude awakening every single day to not see someone in her bedroom. And it was like, wow, life happens quickly. And after the journey, I had this joy lit up inside of me again. There was like, wow, I really want to like deepen my own practice in life, and also I want to help other people get there.
Tell me what your journey was like. So, Gary, when you went for your birthday, what was that? Was that a day session, one session? Were you gone for a week? Like, tell me about that.
Sure. I arrived, it was on a Tuesday, and that evening the shaman kindly took me out for my birthday. So I had an evening with him, getting to know who he was, and he was getting a little bit more deeper knowledge about who I was and my intention for the journey. The next day we were in ceremony, probably starting at probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I would say I was in the journey till around 7 p.m. And I was on a big, comfy couch in a very luxurious house, looking over the ocean, a beautiful waterfront property, very safe, very secure. And he was with me all the way through it, side by side. And if I needed a conversation with him, he would be there to dialogue with. Robert's not much of a talker during a journey. I see it, I feel it, I need to express it. And that's how I worked through the medicine. And then the next day was very similar. No, it was only 2 days. It was 2 days. 2 days. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was so long ago. We did a second journey, and each journey is different. There is no repeat. You are a different soul, a different being after you've been through the first experience. And the second experience was like even more eye-opening on my purpose and direction in life. And came home the next day, and Robert went, "Whoa, you shifted." So, a little side story here. My sister lives with us. She sort of took place after my mother passed away. She sort of slipped in there.
Okay.
And we're carrying home. And she said to Robert, there's something different about Gary. He just doesn't shut up anymore. He told me all about his life, and I've never heard these stories before. He's been so open and honest. I want to go on a journey experience like him. So we sat down and eventually told her that it was magic mushrooms. And she says, "Great, I'm in. If this can shift you, it can shift me." And she wanted to do the work, and she was all in. So when she came back, we jokingly say, my sister went away 90% cranky and 10% happy. She came back 90% happy, 10% cranky.
Okay.
And the crankiness is awareness that she catches herself in the moment of old patterning and thinking and being. And I say that's reduced down to 7% now. So,
and did she do the same thing that you did, where it was just for that session with
the same amount of time, 2 ceremonies, 3 to 4 days away with the shaman?
Yeah.
Wow. And are you in Canada?
Yeah, we are in Kelowna, British Columbia.
So mushrooms are legal in Canada, right? Because they are.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gray area, and it's sort of like, as long as you're not selling it on the street corner, then the police aren't going to bother you.
Yeah.
Again, if you're making a storefront out of it, then they may have issue with that.
Yeah.
And our standard answer to that is that it's a mushroom that grows in the forest. So it's a natural substance that was given to us by the earth for us to actually use in what we would call like a sacred, holistic manner, so that you can know more about yourself.
Yeah. So I've heard of ayahuasca before, and so do you kind of see something like where you go to Peru with the shaman and stuff, or is it a ceremony similar to that, or is that something completely different? Because it sounds like you're laying on this like luxury, nice house, and I feel like the documentaries and shows I watch where you go into Peru and you're in this forest and you're throwing up and everything else the entire time is so I'm assuming this sounds much different than what you experienced during mushrooms.
Totally.
Yes,
Okay.
period.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Gary calls it an ultra class experience.
Okay.
A 6-star experience. You're in luxury. It's small groups, 4 to 5 people. We're in an estate home or a boutique resort, and you're taken care of. You're very, very comfortable. There's no grass hut if you want that. There are places you
There's
can
plenty
go.
of options out there too.
Yeah.
Grass skirt, dance around naked with sticks and things like that. Whatever works. Whatever your calling is at the moment. We just felt this is the way that we want to present the work moving forward.
Like you're way better.
Yeah, sort of. Most people do.
Well, it's the work can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we know it. We've been through obviously a number of ceremonies, and we've trained through this. And for us, like one of the biggest parts of me that like was immediately resistant was like, I'm not going to a yurt. I don't want to eat dirt. I don't want to eat bark.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be in the lap of luxury. And the individual that I was with was like, well, Rob, picture your home on a waterfront property and the medicine man will work with you there. I was like, oh. And I sort of like sat up, did a half head tilt and was like, what are you talking about? Like, because when you're talking about this, the image in my mind is very different than what you're talking about. So we sort of took that because it's what we wanted, and we took it to a different level and took it to that ultra class experience so that you can be deeply comforted, deeply cared for in a safe, professional manner.
Yeah.
When you go through those deeply tumultuous, uncomfortable phases in the journey.
So I have a friend that lives in New York, and him and I went to dinner a couple of years ago, and there's this couple that a lot of people know about or have gone to in Arizona. They're an older couple. They've been doing this for 30 plus years. And he went and did this, and I think he spent a couple of days with them, and his whole life changed, just like you just said.
Yeah.
For the better. He said at one point he was in like space and his mother just died maybe a few months before, and he was talking with his mother, and basically she's gave him some advice and said everything's good, you gotta live your life, and then he microdoses now every day, and he's 100% is like all on board for the whole world doing this, for it to be a better place, just to and I have friends that live in Mendocino, California, who are microdosing and very into the whole mushroom thing. So I have never done it myself. I interviewed a woman maybe a couple months ago, and she gave me a contact of a person that I could get mushrooms sent to me. So I did do that. I'm too scared to take them. And my husband won't do it with me and he's not against it at all. He just doesn't know what my reaction is going to be, and he doesn't want to be responsible for me. So that's why I think what you are offering is probably the perfect solution, because you've got all this experience and you know what to expect, and you've done it with other people. So I think this is really great. And so that's what I'm throwing out to you, what I know about it and what I want to do. So
yeah. And the thing is, with microdosing, for the most part, you're not going to see anything scary. It's going to sort of, what we say is that it'll sort of soften the edges of your day. It'll take a little bit of the stress off. You'll be a little bit more creative. You'll be a little bit more focused. If you have pain, it can possibly also like mitigate pain in your body as well. But with proper dosing and with microdosing, you're not going to go into a full-blown journey for the most part.
Well, he did it with the journey with the people, the couple.
Right, yeah.
he did that for a day or two, and then after that, microdosed.
Yeah.
And is that pretty common the way that you do it as well?
The way we do it is slightly different. It is, we have a 4-month container. I could break that down for you. You would work with us for 4 weeks online, like Zoom, and help you prepare the vessel, the human, for the journey as much as possible. And then you would come and join us in Kelowna for 4 full days. There will be 2 ceremonies with magic mushrooms, 2 full days of integration. And then, as we say, most of our clients are sad to leave, but also very excited to go back into the world on the Monday to work with what they've been shown, and we integrate with them for 3 months.
Okay.
So it's a 4-month container we work with, and we find it very beneficial. That way we keep you on track, and we're there to guide you along the way, not just to go in, have the experience, and then go back to your life. You're there to shift, to move forward, and to work with the medicine for your whole life.
Yeah, I love that. And you've talked about the reason why that you both started it. What are some other reasons why? So, there's people that have losses in their life, whether it's, family, a divorce, whatever it could be, death. My thing is that I have a horrible sleeping problem, and I can't, and I've heard, this magic mushrooms, like if you do something like this will help you. I've studied transcendental meditation. That did not help me sleep any better. I do have to say I'm a better person whenever I do meditate. But it's not helping me sleep at all. I've done the breath work. I've done all these other things, and I just, nothing helps me sleep. I can't slow my mind down. I do feel like there's something that, and I don't know what it is, and maybe this is what other people feel too. There's something there's missing from me, and I need to figure out what it is, and I just can't pinpoint it exactly.
Yep, you said the words that all our clients say. Most of the time, they're waving their hand in front of their chest in front of their heart, and they say, "There's something missing. Now I'm just missing the connection, and I'm not too sure what it is, or I think I know what it is, but I just don't know how to get there."
Yeah, I don't know quite what it is. I've been in my married relationship for 26 years. We're very happy. We have a good life. He has moved with me all over the world with my job, and he's a very chilled person. But I keep telling him I want to do something like this, and he again will not do it with me like that. He would go with me to do it. He just doesn't want to be the person overseeing me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And so, tell me about like the typical people that will come to you. It sounds like, I read there's not just typical people. It sounds like you kind of have people all over the spectrum, where they're celebrities or athletes or CEOs, so kind of tell me about some of the people. You don't have to tell me names, obviously. I know there's confidentiality, but if you could just kind of tell me some of the types of people that have come.
Yeah, there are executives, there are entrepreneurs, there are serial entrepreneurs, there are directors in film, in different industries, actors, athletes, and for the most part, people who, if you're to summarize all of it, they're people who know that there's something missing, they feel disconnected, and they don't know how to connect to it. And that's where we come in. And it's people are recognizing that disconnect is impacting their relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's impacting how they operate on a daily basis. And when they come through what we call a purpose-driven journey, because you're not just coming to experience the medicine, you're coming in to receive a lot of information in your journey, and you're also going to apply it into your life. You might only come on one journey with us because you're given so much information, you're given so much intel, and it's about moving that intel back into your life, whether it be a film, whether it be into your corporation, whether it be into your empire.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, it's about elevating people, elevating business, elevating relationships into that more conscious, connected space whereby people are really starting to focus on, like, what am I going to leave behind? What is that legacy? And people are recognizing that one of the biggest legacies they can leave behind are functional relationships. And it starts with self, and then that function can dissipate out into your friends, your community. So it's people that want to actually make a conscious contribution through their business, through their profession, through a new way. And like, I think it doesn't take long for us to look out into the world to realize that we need a new way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of tumult in the world, and I think people are like, they're just like, there has to be a different way. So that's what we're here to do, and it's not necessarily going to be our way, but it's honoring the genius within the individuals that are coming to work with us. And like, I'm thinking of one person in particular, works for a global consulting firm, and that individual went back after the journey and started pummeling people with like really empowering questions, as opposed to going to that individual for the answers. She started to empower the individuals, whereby all of a sudden they started to get uncomfortable. It's like, what do you mean I have the answers? It's like, no, I know you do. And I'm going to continue to ask the really difficult questions of you so that you find that power and find that empowerment within. And everything has been shifting for her and for her business unit. And that's going to ripple out. So it's this massive ripple effect that we see happening, where people want to find a new way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that has come in not kind of open-minded about it, and then once they got there and they kind of let it go, that they realized, wow, this does work?
Oh yeah, there's apprehension right until the day they take the mushroom. Sometimes, not that often. We've worked with you for like 4 weeks, I said, to prepare you for that. And every thought pattern that is going through your head, we're trying to find the antidote for you, or just guide you in the direction of retraining your thinking. So it is a programming that you're upgrading within yourself prior to arriving. But in the moment, we eventually, we all sit there and we just laugh about the thought that they're having about the whole ordeal, and they let it go, and then they're able to receive what the medicine is going to serve.
Yeah. And so it sounds like the journey that you're going on when you take the mushrooms, it's about 6 hours average. Is that kind of what it
Average 5, 6, 7 hours maybe. So that would be about the average time you would be in stillness, usually with a mask on or your eyes closed. We play curated music. We don't sing, we don't dance, we don't chant.
Okay.
Just want to clear that. This is the fine print.
Yeah, gotcha. And what about the kind of religious part of this? Is there any religion as part of this, or this is all just kind of spiritual healing and just
It's a massive personal development dive into seeking out your inner truth.
Yeah. I would say there's sort of two, like, there's the personal spiritual development, and then there's also the professional development that we curate that, because we can go very, very deep into the spiritual, but that's where, like, we get to know you through the application process, and by us getting to know you, then we know who to place you with. So if you're looking for that spiritual experience and you want to sort of nurture that aspect of your life, then that's where we would put you. But if you're an executive looking to optimize your business and your business unit, then that's a different placement. So it's curated for the individual and the individuals that are in the group settings.
Yeah. So are people going by themselves, or are they going with groups? Do couples go together? What's the type of people that go?
Yeah, we have individuals applying and coming on a journey. We, as Robert says, we curate the groups. We work with solos or up to 4 people at a time, no more. And then we would find out who is going to work best with who. And sometimes some CEOs just want to work on their own and they just want the Rob and Gary time. And so they have us for the whole 4 months.
And did couples ever go together?
Oh, yeah. We have couples come through that stay together.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we also have couples who like will come into different groups because they just want that time for themselves. Yeah. And we sort of intuit that as well, of like, they'll sometimes ask, do you think I should come with my partner or my husband or my wife? And it's like, typically if you're asking that question, it's like, maybe we'll just do it in 2 separate groups.
Yeah. Yeah, I would want to bring my husband. I would want him to come and experience it with me. I mean, that's my first gut reaction anyway. So when people leave and you're working with them for the 3 months after they leave, are they right away though feeling a difference? It sounds like from what you said, like they go back to work on Monday, and your example that you gave before, and then the 3 months you're still kind of just helping make sure that they're staying on track. Is that what you're kind of doing for the 3 months following?
Yeah, I'll give the analogy that I just spoke about this morning is like you're in the pinball machine of life. You're the silver ball that you shoot you into the game. And instead of going back into the hole and going back into the game again and again and again and the old patterning, we're there like the bumper guards to guide you through the game of life that you're on, so you don't go back into your old way of being and doing. You still have that choice. You know it's there, but now that you know there's a newer way or the way to move forward in life consciously, you're going to choose that path and going to re-educate yourself to move forward in this way of being. So that's why we're there. We're our little guardian guards, bumper guards all the way up. That's
a good analogy. Has anybody ever talked to you about maybe like trying to do something like a documentary about what you're doing? Because I think it's fascinating, like what you're doing. And I think this is what the world needs in a lot of ways.
Very much so. We've had a number of opportunities come our way. It's still there in the ethers, and the idea has been out there, and we're working towards that.
Okay. Anything else you'd want to tell people that maybe have thought about doing it and are hesitant to do it, to kind of like, give them that kind of push to say, yeah, check out the website and it's not scary. It's not the shaman in the Peru, Earth, like we were talking about before.
Yeah,
it's like it's much different.
Yeah. I would say number one, do your homework, do your due diligence, know who you're going to be working with. It's a bit of a wild west out there right now, with a lot of people stating they can do or they think they can do what we do. And there are many different levels of professionalism and integrity in this work. So just know, if you're not coming on a journey with the Journeymen Collective, know who you're working with, vet those individuals, speak with people that they've worked with. We've heard some crazy stories in the last 6.5, 7 years that we've been doing this. Because for us, this could possibly be one of the most important journeys of your life.
Yeah.
And there's no greater honor and integrity that we put forth for people to come through this experience. So, safety, trust, integrity, professionalism, excellence. Like there is so many pieces that we put in there that we know is important for people. So do your homework. Make sure that it's going to be purpose driven. If you feel a little bit uncomfortable, that's probably a good thing. We say there should be excitement and fear, because you're going to be stepping into the unknown, and to have people that are there to guide you, but also not just guide you in the actual ceremony, but really help you implement what you've learned, what you've been shown, because essentially it's like someone hits play on a television series, and then you're going to be watching a number of different episodes in your mind's eye, and you may not have context for what you're shown. So to have someone who's trained, who's knowledgeable, to help you understand what you just went through is vitally important.
Have you ever thought about if you didn't do this, where you would be at today in your life?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God. Yeah. Sometimes it comes, I was like, if I wasn't doing this work, where would I be? I think we'd still be in the field of personal development and coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would still probably work outside the mushroom realm.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't look back. You know, look like, wow, look where we are now, 7 years ahead, like from where we were. Who would ever thought this is where we would be, and what we've accomplished, and how many people we have served. My biggest thing, if anybody's looking for a journey or working with the Journeymen Collective, and you come to our website, basically you've come to our door. We're open the door. All you need to do is come through your heart with your decision making
Yeah.
and step through the doorway, and life changes.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's one of the things, like, I'm thinking of a client who just came through a journey, and like he knew he was in good hands, and that he was going to be taken care of. And after his first ceremony with us, so after the first day, he was like, it was all just fear. He was like, I was a little bit anxious, a little bit apprehensive, but all of it, everything that has stopped me from really moving forward in my life, in my whole entire life, it was all just fear.
Yeah.
That has been like disseminated out into the ethers through all the different phases of life. And he was like, after a while, it bogs you down. And he said, I got to like shed that, all of the fear. And I got to touch into this infinite potential within myself, where it's like, now I've been shown that door. I can friggin' tap into that every single moment of my life.
If someone is on like I'm trying to think what an antidepressant would be, a Prozac or something like that, or Zoloft or one of those medications like that, do they need to be off of that before they? Because I have a friend that has thought about doing this, but he's been on Zoloft or whatever, Prozac for a decade or more, and he's scared to come off of it because he doesn't want to go into a depression. So what's your advice for somebody like that if they wanted to come do this?
Yeah. The best possible way is to wean yourself, titrate yourself off. And the ultimate
with medical assistance.
With medical assistance. And the best way forward is for you to come in 2 weeks, absolutely no medication, or no SSRI or NSRIs, is the best possible way forward. And there's ways that you can even microdose. There are other things that you can do. We've even had a client who did ketamine as she was coming off her medication, and it helped her to actually break that cycle. So there's many different things. It's finding the best support for you through that weaning and titration process. Yeah.
So I'll tell you that I did a ketamine therapy with a doctor in Dallas when I was living there for a year and a half. And I went twice a week for 3 weeks. So I did 6 sessions. It was through IV. It was very professional. He had monitoring my blood pressure, my heart, like everything. And I went because I wanted to sleep. That was the main reason why I went. But he also said, think of something that you want to kind of shed. And I thought, I don't want to think about my father who died every day, which is what I was doing. I wasn't sad about it. It's just like every day I would think about him in some way, in a good, mostly, just a memory or something. And, I wasn't angry anymore about him dying, but I have to say that the ketamine therapy did not help me sleep, but I do not think about my father at all hardly, which is, I know ketamine is much different than mushrooms, but that's what I wanted to sleep, but it was worth it to me to at least be able to kind of move on past my father. So, I think for for what you're offering. I love the being able to be more creative, because I want this podcast to be this is not my full-time job. I want this to be my full-time job. I want this to what I do, every day. And I want to sleep. Those are my two goals. And my relationship is good. Not that everybody's relationship could be better, I guess, but it's good. I'm happy with it. Again, there's just something missing, not with my relationship, but just overall. So I think those are the three things: my podcast, sleep, and figure out what's missing. Are my three things.
I think I know somebody or someones who might be able to assist you with that.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you guys are real. Like I said at the beginning of the interview, I really wanted to interview you and talk with you because I think it's so fascinating. I think it's amazing what you're doing. If anybody wants to learn more, the website is the Journeymen Collective.com. I'll put it in the podcast description as well, or the YouTube description if you're watching the video. And go and check it out. There's a lot of FAQs. It talks about what the work they've done or that they're doing. It kind of answers a lot of these questions that we talked about today, plus a lot more. And they would apply if they're interested in being a part of it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think you will be seeing me in person at some point in the near future, I hope. And you guys, again, I think what you're doing is fantastic, and the world needs you. So
thanks, Zach. It was great.
Such a pleasure.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Be sure to go to the JourneymenCollective.com and check them out. And thank you guys for being on. And be sure to subscribe and leave a comment on the podcast. Thanks, everybody.
Not everyone understands house music. It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing. A soul thing. Not everyone understands house music.